With Wealth for Life, there is a little bit of personal care.
We didn't go through the investing, and I don't think we would be where we are today.
I would never go to a bank directly again.
Let's do it together.
They're giving me more confidence.
We feel totally secure now.
It was just easy.
There's a capability there that we didn't even know we had.
Stressful wise, Anthony's always there.
After the first meeting, those fears were gone.
They make us comfortable before we made the next step to invest.
Who wants to work until they're 80? Seriously.
We actually have seen the benefits.
It's like nothing's changed, but we're getting wealthier every day.
They've laid out the plan out for the next 20 years and
looks great.
And I know exactly where I'm going.
They really are the real deal.
We feel included.
I'm able to retire at a very younger age.
We're in the process of building our dream home after 18 years being stuck in the one home.
Financial independence for us and for our children.
Build something for our son, Rocco.
And set up our kids' futures as well.
Set themselves up for life.
They were amazing.
So certainly will make a big difference to you.
They changed our lives.
We feel included.
Go to Wealth for Life. Full stop.
Hey guys, Anthony Peluso here, founder and CEO of Wealth for Life. Hope you guys are doing well. Coming at you from sunny, wintry, cold, warm Melbourne. All seasons in one day, right? So you guys have inquired about how to find and how to buy distressed properties. You would have seen, if you follow us here at Wealth for Life on wealthforlife.com.au or our Facebook and social media pages, that we have been advertising a lot of what we call distressed properties. And the inquiry has been nothing short of phenomenal. Okay, unfortunately, we haven't been able to assist everybody, given that these properties get snapped up pretty quickly. Okay, and if you're a deal maker and if you're a professional investor, you know how to spot these, you know how to pick them up, and you know how to close them. But we're going to talk to you about how to find distressed property and how to buy them. All right, so before we get started though, we're going to look at the definition of the word distress, because this sometimes confuses people, okay? So according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, distressed means relating to or experiencing economic decline or difficulty, okay? So this is a very important point, because you certainly don't want to be buying anything that's experiencing economic decline, okay? You want to be not taking advantage, but you want to be looking for someone who actually can't settle property. And if you're in a position to do so, you can help them out. So based on that definition, what do we consider as distressed property, or why is property distressed? How do you actually come across distressed property? So mortgagee in possession is one way that property becomes distressed. So that's when somebody's holding on to some real estate and for whatever reason can't keep up with the loan repayments. The banks step in, take over the property and put it on the market for sale. Okay, it's not a good position to be in if you're the owner of that property. Okay, when your lender, your banker has to come in and take over the loan, take over the property and force you to sell. Okay. Another way that you can actually look at distressed property is when the property's damaged, okay? Now, I've actually done this quite successfully in the past, where there's damaged property, and if you've got a good eye for seeing undervalued real estate, you can actually take advantage of that. But that's another way that property can become distressed. Here's an interesting one. You can define distressed property based on the dictionary definition as property that's falling in value. All right, now, I don't know whether you'd really want to look at something like this. Just because you can get a $40,000 to $50,000 discount on a property that's falling in value doesn't make it a great purchase. So I really need you to be aware of that. I'll give you some examples of that in a minute. You've also got couples that have a relationship breakdown, husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, that go their separate ways, need to get rid of the property in quick fashion. So there's an opportunity there to pick up some property at a good price, because someone has some urgency to move that on. You've got deceased estates, where again the property's taken over by the estate, And it's usually, you know, a younger generation that doesn't see a lot of value in the property, just wants to cash the property out and take the cash. Again, I've been quite successful in picking up a lot of those properties. But the most common one is when one has purchased property and then can't settle on it. So they'll need to nominate out, and the nominee comes on board, takes over the contract that's on foot, and settles the contract under those terms and conditions. Now, if you've done your homework and the original purchaser has purchased in the right location and bought the right property, you could do very well financially by taking over that contract, which is what's actually happened over the last 6 months with some of our clients, okay? And let me also cover some of the risks involved with buying these properties, because they're not for everybody, okay? You want to make sure that you understand the difference between a distressed property, distressed seller, and a location that isn't doing too well. As I said earlier on, be careful that you don't get sucked into buying property 10-20% below market value in an area that's going backwards. Now, if you're in Australia, have a look at the beautiful city of Perth, okay? You'll recall 6-7 years ago, there was a massive mining boom in Perth, all right? So everybody rushed out over to Perth to pick up property. You could pick up property very well. The growth was incredible. The rental yields were unheard of. Yeah, you were cash flowing some serious money on a monthly basis. What actually happened in Perth? When the mining boom ended and all the jobs and resources pulled out of Perth, the property market in Perth literally crashed overnight, especially in those areas, okay, that a lot of people working for BHP, Rio Tinto, were actually taking up. And, to the uneducated buyer, the ones who didn't do their homework, they're still recovering and they're still paying for it. So a professional buyer would have looked at a city like Perth and said, you know what? It hasn't had a lot of good performance, a lot of growth over the last 15-20 years. And it's probably not going to have a lot of growth afterwards either, right? So Perth literally went up overnight and then crashed just as fast. And the problem you have when you're trying to pick the top and the bottom of the market is that most people don't know how to do that. And by the time you've worked out the bottom of the market, it's too late. And by the time you've worked out the top of the market, it's too late. So when you're looking for distressed property, make sure that you're buying property that's going to continue to perform. It makes no sense to buy something $40,000, $50,000, $100,000 below market value in an area that's going backwards. Okay, that's not the criteria you would use to build a successful property investment portfolio. If you can pick up distressed real estate in an area that is growing in value, really good capital growth and very strong cash flow in a really good location, you're doing well. And that's exactly what a lot of our clients have done over the last 6 months. So make sure that you do your research very, very, very well before you go out and make a decision such as that, right? Now, what I actually, I'll give you an example here. This is how I actually got burnt, right? 17 years ago or something like that, I picked up a property that, I looked at, and it was quite distressed, meaning it was quite run down, needed a hell of a lot of work. And there I thought, being the hero that I was back then, that I could pick this property up, renovate it, flip it, and make a nice tidy profit really quickly. Based on my inexperience and my ego, okay, the two biggest dangers to anyone trying to create wealth, I picked up this property. I wasn't able to see what I should have seen, and there's no way I could have done the renovation work that I had to have done for the money required and still made a profit. So in the end, I discarded the property. I lost $70,000. Not a really good experience, and I certainly don't want anybody to make a mistake like that. And that simply came down to inexperience and not understanding the true cost of buying a property, renovating it, and putting it back on the market. Okay, but you'll learn, right? So if the property is in serious despair and needs a lot of work, make sure you understand what's involved, okay, in doing that. Because if you don't, this is a thing with renovations, okay? People get sucked into a lot of these shows on TV, The Block and Renovation Rescue and so forth. Keep in mind, guys, that's TV, okay? And it's only designed to get ratings and to get eyes on the TV, right? To get viewership, okay? You've got to understand a lot of these things aren't even finished. You see them on TV as a completed property. They're not even finished, okay? The wall, the kitchen cabinetries and stuck in, the bathrooms aren't completed. None of it's been none of the joinery's in place. It's just done for TV, okay? If you're going to go out and renovate a property, you need to understand what's involved, because the thing with renovations is that there's a lot of things that the human eye can't see. The three main areas are electrical work, plumbing, and stumping when it comes to those types of properties, okay? They're going to be the most expensive things to handle if you're going to do a structural renovation. So do your homework before you jump in and put money down on a distressed property that needs to be, refurbished or renovated, all right? Now, where I did very well with this was in it's one of the suburbs in Melbourne. I'm just looking at who my viewership is. Port Melbourne, if you're aware of the suburb of Port Melbourne. I picked up a property there for $370,000, spent about $140,000 on renovating it, and had it valued at just under $700 in 4 months. Okay, so that's a tidy profit. And that came from experience. That came from making a few mistakes with the initial purchase. But it enabled me to understand how to find distressed property, how to find property that's undervalued, right? And how to be able to see what most people can't see. Now, that comes from experience. You can read as many books as you want, do as much research on the internet as you want, but there's no substitute for experience. Now, by experience, I don't mean that you've got to lose money, but you've got to hit the pavement. You've got to go look at, I looked at hundreds of properties before I became successful as a renovator, all right? In seeing underperforming real estate and being able to spot that and take advantage of it really quickly, all right? But for a lot of you guys out there, you're probably not going to have the time to do that, okay? So how do you find and buy distressed property? If you're someone out there working 9 to 5 and you're looking to get ahead in life and set yourself up financially and get that jump on the average buyer, how do you find and buy distressed property? Okay, number one, you must be prepared financially. Forget about the property. Go get your finances in order. We say this to all of our clients. Get your finances in order. Make sure your finances are in place, your deposits are in place, your line of credit or your offset facilities. You've got ready available cash there, ready for when you find an opportunity. Because these properties aren't going to sit around and wait for you to get ready. All right? The last thing you want to be doing is finding a great deal and then not having the funds to close or complete the transaction. Right? You also need to know how to analyze a deal really, really quickly and come to a conclusion. Again, these properties aren't going to wait for you to get experienced and do your research and go talk to who you need to talk to. Right? So you need to know how to find a deal and act really, really quickly. And the best deals are the ones where you're able to see the opportunity, come to a conclusion really quickly, have your finances set up to put down a deposit and close within 14 to 21 days. Okay? This is when you start to get a lot of the terms and conditions stacked in your favor. So you've got to make the deal attractive for the vendor as well. This is the problem with a lot of you guys out there, right? You look to take advantage of everybody else in the deal, right? Hey, I see this every day, where you're the only person that wins. Yeah, you'll do that once or twice, but you'll also start to develop a reputation where people won't want to deal with you. The only great deal is a deal where everybody wins. Okay, remember, I'm talking about distressed property here. I'm not talking about distressed people. I'm not talking about taking advantage of a person, okay? If somebody genuinely can't settle on a piece of real estate, you are helping them by taking over their contract and settling the property for them. Because the alternative for them is that they lose their deposit, they default, they get a blemish on their credit file, they may have the vendor or developer chase them for the balance of deposit or any losses that are suffered as a result of the sale falling through. So you are actually helping them, okay, by taking over their contract. So don't take advantage of a vendor or someone involved in the transaction. You know, do a really good job of making sure everybody wins, because they are the best types of deals. So these distressed properties as well, you're not going to find them on the internet. All right, so stop looking on realestate.com, domain.com, or any of these websites. Distressed real estate does not fall on the internet, okay? So how do you find them? You need to have incredible relationships with bankers and mortgage brokers, okay? You need to have good relationships with conveyancers, solicitors, and people in the industry, all right? Because these things get done off market. Okay, I'll give you a great example. I sit in the office one day and I get a phone call from a client, a really good friend of mine. And he had a friend who purchased some real estate in the western suburbs, a block of land, actually, in the western suburbs, in a great area, a really growing area. Back in 2018, I think it was when the contract was signed. So I get a phone call, hey Anthony, it's so-and-so here, can you help my buddy out? He's in a bit of a pickle. He needs to settle this, he needs to get rid of this property, but he can't actually settle it due to the current circumstances of the financial climate. Can you help him out? Sure. We exchanged phone numbers. This guy was based in Singapore. He picked up a block of land for, I think it was $170,000. It was valued at $250,000 at the time that I became aware of the deal. And he was well aware of that, and he knew that he was going to be losing that profit. That was not his concern. He just wanted to get out of the contract. So I put a lovely couple into this transaction, and they made around $71,000 to be precise in equity on day one. Now, this was also in an area that is currently booming with very strong growth and incredible cash flow. Okay, because that had to be the criteria, right? Even if you're making 70 grand up front, if the area's not growing in value or going backwards, you're going to erode that profit, you know, over the next few years anyway. So make sure you're not looking for like a discount or distressed property in an area that's actually going backwards or not going to perform anyway. It'll just catch up with you. And the example I gave around about Perth, the city of Perth, is a really good example there, right? So make sure, again, the property is distressed and not the location. Look for really good growth areas and look for areas that have got really strong cash flow. And if you could pick something up, you know, 10, 20% below market value, that's a great outcome, all right? So in summary, guys, when looking at distressed properties, learn to analyze a deal, learn to understand what it is you're looking at, and pay attention to a lot more than just the difference between what it's worth and what you're buying it for, okay? Create a win-win scenario. Be recognized. Now, if you do it like we do, obviously we do this for a living, right? But be recognized as somebody that enables everybody to win, that sets up a deal where everybody wins. You win, the vendor wins, the broker wins, the agent wins, everybody involved has to win, okay? Why? Because if you operate like that and you get recognized for operating like that, guess what? You don't have to look for these deals moving forward. They come to you. Do you get that? Imagine if you had a deal like this knock on your door every week because you've built a reputation of making sure everybody wins. Life would be pretty cool, right? So you can continue to do what you do for a living and have all these great opportunities presented to you because you're a person that makes sure everybody wins, all right? So I hope you guys have got a lot out of this presentation. Quick, short, but straight to the point. Hey, good luck. Good luck out there, guys. Here we are in 2020, the year that almost was, and there's really good things ahead in the real estate market, okay? I don't just say that because I'm in the industry. If you have a look at Australia as an economy in general, there are really, really good things ahead. You just got to be able to get past the headlines on the news these days. There are incredible buying opportunities here if you know where to look and what to look for. Okay, so if you need a hand on any of this, give us a call at Wealth for Life or hit us up at wealthforlife.com.au. Again, we can't promise these deals for you because they move just as fast as we pick them up. So get yourself prepared. Take care of your finances, all right? Get ready, set, go, right? Get ready, get set, go. Get your finances sorted so when a great deal comes by, you can take action really quickly. And that's where a lot of people fall over, right? They get a great deal and then they've got to go and do all their research. It's like, guys, a great deal is going to sit there and wait for you while you get ready and, you know, handle what you're going to handle. Okay? A great deal comes by, you've got to be able to go bang, real quickly, take it out before anybody else sees it. Okay? This is how you get something $70,000, $80,000 below market value. Okay? You've got to be able to move really, really quickly and have people around you that can move really, really quickly. All right? And make sure that you're doing a win-win, creating a win-win for everybody involved. Because if you don't, you deserve to lose, okay? Just kidding, guys. Take care of yourselves, do really, really well, and anything we can do to help you, wealthforlife.com.au. Take care.